segment 0.1.dalet, or as we will begin designating from this point forward with Hebrew numbers, that would read Ephes for 0, Ephes, Nikud for point, Nikud, Achat for 1, Achat, Nikud, again for point, and then the letter name dalet. So this section would be entitled Ephes, Nikud, Achat, Nikud, dalet. Explanation. Dagesh, or dot, in so-called beged kefet letters. There are 6 consonants in the Hebrew alphabet which routinely are written with a dagesh. This is the name of the dot that appears in the center of the letter. This is not a vowel, it is rather a pronunciation aid for the consonant. These 6 consonants will take the dagesh when they appear first in a phrase or when they follow a closed syllable. We'll be explaining more about closed syllables later on, but just be aware that these are the conditions when the dagesh appears. This sort of dagesh is known as a dagesh lene, as you see in the footnote. We will meet the first of these 6 letters at this point, the first 3, namely Beit, Gimel, and Dalet. The entire group of 6 consonants goes by the shorthand name Beged Kefet, and this is basically an acrostic formed of the letters which qualify for this sort of dagesh: Beit, Gimel, Dalet, and then Kaf, Pe, and Tav. The last 3 we'll talk about later. Of this initial cluster of 3 Beged Kefet letters, that is, Beit, Gimel, and Dalet, only in the case of Beit will the dagesh actually change how it is pronounced. And here's the difference. When you see a Beit with the dagesh present, the flow of air is stopped. That is to say, we must purse or actually fully close the lips, stopping the airflow, resulting in the sound B. And consequently, this letter name is Beit. If, on the other hand, you see the Beit consonant written without the dagesh, then there is no stopping of the airflow. The resulting sound is a V sound, V. And in Hebrew, the V sound is represented by the letter Beit with no dagesh. Technically, the letter Beit with no dagesh is called Veit, and you see the transliteration as a B with an underscore. Once again, to answer the question, when will a Beged Kefet letter take on the dagesh, there are 2 situations which call for it. It will have a dagesh either when it appears as the first letter of a word that begins a phrase, or when it follows a closed syllable, and that can occur right within the middle of a word. At this point, it's asking too much to help you master those particular rules, so to begin with, just make it a habit to include a dagesh whenever a Beged Kefet letter begins a word. This will apply not only to Beit, but to Gimel and Dalet and the other Beged Kefet letters as well. Once again, for simplicity as an early learner of Hebrew, whenever you're writing a word that begins with a Beged Kefet letter, write it with the dagesh.